Yes, welcome everyone to another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their lives and their careers and their comics and their campaigns, because corporate comics has lost me and my interest now is in indie comics. Indie comics is where the talent is, where the creativity is, and where the fun is. So yeah, okay, cool to see you guys. Busy day, another busy day. I was planning to write, I didn't get to writing. A lot of other stuff to do. For instance, I updated the campaign for Perfect 10 issue 3. The campaign is closed, is over, but I keep you guys updated. Right. So what is the status with the book? The book is almost finished. So the thing was, guys, most of you know this, that the book was done. The book was completely done. It was supposed to deliver on time. And then the last moment, I thought of this idea that I liked so much that I wanted it in the story. But it meant the story needed to change a little bit. So we added some pages. I rewrote some stuff. Some pages from issue 4 moved over to issue 3. Some pages from issue 3 moved over to issue 4. And a small change became a larger change. And now the artist Pau and the colorist Daniel, they have been producing almost a complete book extra. So yeah, a lot of delay. It's all my fault. But I hope you guys will think the wait will be worth it when you get the book, right? I had one problem though with which was a problem I was struggling with. What do I need to do here? It is the fact that the cover, one of the covers, so issue 3 has 2 covers, cover A, cover B, and cover B no longer applies to events in this issue because it moved over to issue 4. So I was like, what do I need to do now? Because some of you backed the book specifically for cover B, I think, or you wanted cover B, or you have the combination package where you get everything. So my preference is so what I thought was I would make we would make a new cover B for issue 3, and and the cover we have now will be repurposed for issue 4. But I do not want to do that if people don't like it. And then if you have this new cover, I will make a extra print of the cover we have now, right? So if you backed the cover, you still get the artwork, but you also get a brand new cover. So this was my initial solution. If you don't like it, let me know, guys. If you do like it, let me know. This is your book also, right? You paid for this, so yeah, I want to know. Okay, and then there is a little update for the American Bliss campaign. Let me share something with you, because we added an extra trading card, and it's done. Look at this, an extra trading card of the villain Chernobyl, and yeah, it's fantastic. So this card number 8. So we are working backwards now. So we started with 10 to 17. Now we have 9, 8, and so card 8. It is done. This is the backside. It's all done by the same artist, René Bergman. So everything is in the same style. So if you backed American Bliss, you also get this trading card. Right, let me stop sharing. Yes. Whew. Wow. Thank you for showing up, guys. Mike is here. Hey, welcome, Mike. Yeah, long form name. Again, busy last week before some rest. Finally, next weekend. Hey, Dave and Pum Spak. Yes. Yes, this is probably also my last drink with Brink for the year, because next weekends are like festivities. Whoa, a cover conflict. I had no idea, and I've backed both covers. Interesting. Let me know, Mike. Let me know what you prefer. You will get the cover anyway. You will get the art anyway, right? But you get a new cover, and the cover you backed right now will be for issue 4. So think about it. Let me know what you prefer. All right, guys. My guest for today, wonderful guest. He has been here before when his campaign was still in pre-launch, right? So, and now his campaign is live, and we wanted to talk about that amongst other things. So let's have a warm welcome for Mr. Pum Spak.
That was nice. That was nicer than a warm welcome. That was
Really?
just short of a standing ovation. It felt.
Yes. Like. Yes, man.
Damn.
Of course.
Feel welcome.
Because you are Pum Spak, man. We love having you here.
How you doing today, Dave?
I'm doing great. How are you, man?
I think your intro got cooler.
Yeah, I try to update a little bit here and there when I can.
I think last time I was here, you offered me tap water, and this time I'm getting poured drink with ice and bubbles.
Oh, really? Oh, right.
Yeah, look good, man. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So this reminds me. What are you drinking?
Oh, I finished my coffee because you're talking about your cover for so long. So my coffee's done.
Really sorry to keep you waiting, man.
Yeah. I had to drink the whole thing. No, I'm overcast. No, I've got a LaCroix in the house right now. Should I go get something else? Is that okay?
LaCroix? What is that?
It's sparkling water.
All right. Okay.
It's naturally essenced.
It sounds fancy, right?
Yeah. You know.
Okay. Whew. Man, you've been here before a few months back.
Yeah, man.
Your campaign was in pre-launch stage.
Yeah.
And but for the people who've never seen you, right? So they just tune in, they see you. Can you tell us a little bit?
Sorry, you have to see me now. Turn off your screen. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. What'd you say? Who is Pum Spak? Is that what you said?
Exactly. Yes.
Man, well, Pum Spak is just there's a silly name I call myself in the chat, kind of where I started hanging out in CG and stuff like that. I've always wanted to make a comic book, but and I've tried, and I had actually a goal to, but man, like just seeing you guys and everybody in the CG crew doing their thing really inspired me even more. So, I think what might have taken, who knows, 5 years, or who knows if it ever would have come out to something that's releasing physically next month.
Right. So you got caught in the energy from other people creating their
Yes,
things.
sir. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes,
Right.
sir. And
Yeah.
and to elaborate, I didn't answer your question though. So Pump Spak is just a silly name. It's a sound effect from an old Marvel comic book that I've just kind of like hijacked. I just like the sound and look of it. And I'm actually going to create a character with that name. I think at some point, Pumsley Spackwell, that kind of thing.
Right.
But
Yeah.
my real name is Dave, Davey. Actually, I go by Davey, and I live in LA. I work in TV and film. I just recently moved, Dave. I don't know if you can tell. I've got a pile of plants behind me in the background here, but
Right.
I moved to a new apartment in the same complex actually. But I'm literally I live in an alley. I'll send you.
Oh.
I come out and there's just I'll send you my view. It's pretty attractive.
Wow. Wow. Why did you change apartment?
Mostly finances.
Right. Yeah. So you still work right now in the industry, animation?
Yeah. So I work in TV and film in LA. I'd work in live action and and animation. Mostly animation the last 10 years or so. But I used to be a union coordinator, but I did a lot of art department stuff too in live action. And I worked on I had the fortunate experience to work next to a lot of like cool celebrities like Dan Castellaneta from The Simpsons and Jim Carrey and Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox and gosh, I can just try to think of DMX, David Arquette. But actually, kind of my career led me to a path where I kind of tripped and fell into animation. But I guess I got one foot in live action. So just as recently, I was just working in LA is hard, man. So it's like you don't have just steady gigs. So what up, Sumo? Hey, Mike. You don't
Oh, Sumo.
you
Sumo's
don't
here.
have
Hey, welcome, Sumo.
you got to just do what kind of whatever shows up sometimes. So sometimes you'll be on a show like I was on Rick and Morty seasons 3, 4, and 5, and then things happen
Yeah.
and you take a break, and then sometimes it's hard to find work. So
Right.
I was driving a van, like an entry level basically production assistant as little as 2 months ago. I was driving a van around for a reality show. It was pretty fun driving to Malibu and getting paid to take the crew members all around LA. But now I'm on a new cartoon called The Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers. It's a 1970s
Freak Brothers.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what's your role there?
I'm like a production manager, so just kind of like a cog in the wheel. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So just trying to basically a middleman between the producer and the crew, and just trying to make sure everybody's showing up, doing their thing, and then giving the producer appropriate updates.
Awesome. So how do you land these gigs? Is there a lot of competition?
Yes, yeah, depending what you get on. I mean, depending who you know, but I find that there's usually a lot of competition. Yeah, and as it's getting older, it gets harder, man. But for me, it's mostly word of mouth. Usually, the very first job that I got out here, 20 years ago, it was really trying to kind of beg people for a job. But once I kind of got my foot in the door and just worked hard, every single job that I applied for after that, I never got. But I always had someone kind of call me up and say, "Oh, hey, so and so from the last job you were on said you did this and this." Really, I was like, "Do you want to be on this?" I'm like, "Yeah, you sure." So it's your reputation kind of can, I guess, precede you sometimes,
right.
or just kind of get out. People sometimes like shows are just like, oh, we need somebody, and just I've had a lot of situations where it's just getting a call because somebody heard about you or knows about you, and then you do the same thing for that person, and hopefully the show continues to go, and you get to stay on it.
Right. So it's a lot of networking, basically. People know each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the part that was always hard for me because I don't like networking. Want to, and it's not that I don't like relationships either, but I don't like any phony stuff like that, and having to just network for the sake of networking. But I've realized when I was younger, I just felt like I didn't have to worry about that as much. I could just, oh, hey, this guy shows up and he'll give you he'll just work hard for you,
Right.
as I get older, man, now it feels like it's so much more about relationships, and I really gotta like kiss a lot more butt than I used to, and just try to, hey, just, I don't know, be nice and all that.
Wow.
Bah
Um,
humbug.
and do you also experience this a little bit within this indie comics community? That you have to network and know people to get things done?
I, you know what, Dave? Yes and no. No, I would initially just no. I see the CG community as a community that's very alert, and we all just kind of support what we want. We kind of know each other, but we don't need to be best friends. But we're all here for the same common goal to kind of just like, yeah, dig on good comics that we like. Some of us, not all of us, some of us are just doing the Marvel and DC thing still. I'm done with those companies, dude. They've
Mhm.
hurt my fifis a little too much
Yeah,
for me to ever go back to any of that kind of stuff,
yeah,
dude. And I'm like, I was their guy, dude. They had me $20 a week at the comic shop. I had my polls and all this and opening night, blah blah blah. And now, dude, I didn't go see the last Star Wars movie. I didn't see any Mandalorian, like that. All that. Hey, if that's distracting, can you hear all those noises?
I I can hear it. What's going on?
I just have my door open, so if it's all of a sudden, I'm like, if it's too distracting, I'll close that
All right,
door.
no, it's cool.
Um,
Okay, yeah, I have the same thing. Yeah, no Star Wars, no more. I don't care. And sometimes I read about these decisions that these companies make for the new Superman, and I don't give a shit.
Who
It's
cares? The character's a million years old. Just it's
exactly.
so yeah.
We
So
need
I'm
new stuff. We need things like unemployed monsters.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right.
New
But also
things.
too, but and hey, just to try to. I'm not trying to sound like a total anarchist here or anything like that, but I'm like, we don't need these companies either, dude. Just seeing what CG can do. I mean, clearly
Right.
you need funding, you need some sort of resources, but the artists are out there, man, and we don't need Disney. We don't need all these middlemen studios. We're at a point where, and especially I know I have contacts with all these overseas animation studios in Korea, Canada, Philippines, India. We can take your story and get artists and go directly to them anymore. But for so long in LA, these animation studios act as gatekeepers. Like, oh no, we'll hire all the artists. We'll take your script. We'll ruin it for you. We'll bring everybody on, and then you'll see it in a couple of years. We don't need that.
Yeah. We love your script
But
so much that we're going to change everything about
yeah, so now that there's more people like me in production who
it.
are learning, who are just getting burned by companies like this, who take you up, eat you out, spit you out when they don't want you anymore,
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, brick by brick,
Welcome.
brick by brick.
Yeah, welcome to the chat, Lord Sandwich. Hail meaty nights.
What
Yeah.
up, Lord Sandwich?
So maybe strange side question, right? But because it's pretty difficult as things are to make a living within this world of animation or comics, and now you have this new thing coming up, and people are worried about it. This artificial
Mm-hmm.
intelligence,
Yeah, it's
art
cool.
generated stuff.
Yeah, it's like
What's your
Wally,
take on
right?
that?
I think he's cool. Like Wally. Imagine if Wally was just doing all the art for us. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I don't care, man. Listen, who cares? It's all. Who
Okay.
cares?
Great. Well,
I don't know.
let's.
What do you think, dude? Do you want to? I like analog recordings over digital, but it's I don't. Yeah, I guess I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
I guess I guess the fear is that you just. I think the fear is that people who put the time in, right, who can paint all this significant, awesome, crazy stuff, is going like, oh no, now some just like dude who doesn't get out of bed, who drools on himself, can just say a couple words and make something as good as who cares, because it's like all these keywords and stuff, and like, and the people who are good are still gonna be fine, and also, dude, I don't know, maybe there's just too many artists. Maybe some of us got to go get real jobs anyway.
Oh, really? Okay.
So some of the people in the middle, hey, figure it out.
Yeah. That's true. We need to figure things out. There's a new new future, new opportunities
listen,
and
Dave.
challenges. And yeah,
Dave, if I'm not anti. I don't know what your stance is. I'd like to hear it, but I've seen some pretty cool stuff. I saw your boy Zach posting those cool Batman images. I saw, gosh, I don't know the gal's name. I apologize, but she did like Captain Chokeout AI art and
Sheila Aliens.
dude, it was really funny, man. And
Yeah.
Bancroft had these like kangaroo ears sticking out of his hat. So it's like that. I took a screenshot of that. So I liked it. So good job, computer. So I'm not mad at it, dude. I think years ago I might have been more like, who knows? Maybe I think when I was younger, I'd probably been like, oh, this sucks. You got to do it yourself. And when I was even older, I might be like, here come the machines. But I'm in a place where I'm like, if I could figure it out. You're talking to a guy who I drew my entire comic, and when I went to release it, I was like, dude, this just doesn't look good enough. I can't put this out in the world. I'm putting this much effort into writing and creating this. I can't put my own art out into the world because it doesn't look good enough. I need somebody to help me so I can really make it look professional. And my goal is to just knock your socks off when you pick it up. When you pick it up, you're gonna go, wow, this is a book that could compete with DC and Marvel and Disney and the stuff that other people are putting out. It's going to look clean and professional. And if I could achieve that on my own with AI and not have to pay somebody, hey.
Right. Sure. The book you are making is not really a competition to DC Marvel. It's completely different thing, right? Different style, different audience, I think.
I think I'd be competing with like Disney.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe Nickelodeon and maybe, but also too. But I don't know. I think even though it's not superhero characters, I'm telling you, the characters have depth and they're interesting and compelling enough where it's gonna feel like. But,
right. Yes.
But yeah, I'm not competing with superheroes.
Right. Yes. Amanda B. Hey, welcome, Amanda B. Did you play the video yet, Dave? Not yet, but we can do that.
Hey, man.
So yeah, it's a good way to take a look at your campaign, right? So let's start here.
Come buy a comic book, come buy a comic book, come buy a comic book, come buy a comic book. Flip the pages to an awesome story about three kids rock and rolling on the street. Get in the garage and practice till you make something that you love. And when you share it with the world, don't be afraid to go against the evil. People with holes in the heads and cheesy music on the radio. Put posters on the walls, rip them down so they can fall. We made this music by ourselves. Nobody even helped. The host of bad guys end up straight in jail. Somehow, you have to read the comic book to find out.
Okay, that was adorable.
I got a little cat. I got one of those around here too, someplace.
Hi. Yeah. That was great, man.
Oh, I owe it to everybody who worked on it because I didn't do a thing.
Didn't do a thing. So
I'm sorry.
Kids' voices, are these the voices for the characters also?
No, I know. I actually haven't really decided though. But that the kid is a young lady. She was 9 years old when she wrote and recorded that. Her name is Giada, and she's a little punk rock gal from Jersey, and that was all her. So I kind of reached out to her and her dad through Instagram and said, hey, would you guys be down to help me out? And kind of gave them an idea of the theme song that I wanted, and they came back with that first take, and he said it was all her. So it was really cool.
And the lyrics? You did the lyrics?
She wrote them. She wrote them,
really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. The only dude, I made one note, and it's gonna just whatever, because in the beginning, I think she said like it was like, come buy this comic book. It was like, come buy this comic book, come buy this. And I went to music business school in Nashville, Tennessee. I initially wanted to be like an audio engineer. right? And work with bands, and you learn so much in there, and things about like syllabants and putting certain words together just don't always kind of depending on how they're hitting. So it's like, come by this comic, the S and the C were kind of bumping, right? So I said, hey, can you change it to come by a comic book? Even though it doesn't flow as well, it gives you a come by a comic, come by a, you know. So that way I made one note.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is I co-wrote it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, of course.
50-50, sir.
It's a great trailer, man.
Brett from Dying Days of Twitter, he did all those animation elements, and then my buddy Jake, who did the art, he edited that thing together for him.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. All right, Unemployed Monsters presents 3 friends just want to make music and have fun. Why would bad guys have a problem with that?
I don't know. Why would they?
You have 4 days left. These are the final 4 days?
Yeah, final 4. Kind of like the NCAA basketball tournament.
Yeah. And you have 59 backers, which is great. And you are funded also. Fantastic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so it is a 56-page full color comic book. I want it to look really nice, kind of like your comic books, Dave, that have a nice cardstock cover to it.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. And my goal is I want this book to look so nice and so professional that if you were walking down the street in the rain and you were and you look down and it was covered in mud and you're about to step on my comic book, you would still say, dude, that looks interesting enough. I want to clean it up and take it home. Right.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Your book will be bigger, right? It isn't comic book format, but it's a different format.
No, I want comic book. I want to make a comic book. You know, I love what Rich Ayala did, right, with his book.
Yeah.
I think mine would work in that format. Mavericks did the same thing. They did a really nice.
It's bigger. Mavericks is bigger.
Those are nice, and maybe down the road. But I'm a comic book guy. I want you to put it in your bags and board. I want you to put it in your long box. Behind Cyber Frog and in front of Amazing Spider-Man 121.
Yes, especially 121. Yeah. All right. So it's you said 56 pages, right?
Yeah, and that's a little deceptive. I'm trying to think. Shay the Red put me in my place the other day. She held my feet to the fire. So it's 56. That's the cover. So it's 52 interior pages.
Okay. Yeah.
If I may,
sure.
And then it's a good amount of story, man. And so it's sometimes you get a lot of filler art. And I didn't, when I was building my campaign, I just didn't do a good job because she made a great point, Shay, and she said, hey, it says 52 pages, but it says 38 pages of story. What's going on with the rest of the book? I said, oh, if you scroll down, it says there's an additional 8-page story.
This one.
Yeah. So there's there's another 8 pages in the back. So, and I think it's actually 39. So 39 and 8, that's getting us up to almost 50.
Right. Yeah.
And then I've got another, and then the stuff in the back isn't like, oh, they thank you. It's like, cool. It's cool. There's introducing some new characters for the next book, and then actually showing you a page of issue 2 as well. So
sure.
The whole thing will be fun.
He even got Eric Weathers to do the lettering for you.
Yeah, that was just nothing but a blessing. You know, I said, hey, can you do it? He said, yeah. And this is what came back. And I said, well, that looks 10 times better than what it looked like when I gave it to you.
Yeah. The Dark Side is comics is in the chat. Welcome.
Hey, what up, Dark Side?
Welcome, Maris. All right, cool. Okay, so it's what is the basic concept here? What's the premise of Unemployed Monsters Presents?
You know what? It's a tale as old as time. It's essentially there's a lot of ways I kind of dive into it, but it's these 3 kids, they're just kind of trying to make art. They don't even realize they're making art. They're playing music in a little band after school because they love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got this bad guy here. You can kind of see him on the bottom with the binoculars.
This
In
one.
that first page, yeah. So that's Frequency Jones. So I'm a big fan. I'm a really big fan of music. I think I've listened to like over 10,000 albums, like multiple times. I don't know if that sounds like a lot or not, but instead of Quincy Jones, I've got Frequency Jones. Throughout the book, there's like some little hidden Easter eggs here, like some musical references, Easter eggs. One character in the background, like it's like a Where's Waldo type thing, but like there's one year at the Grammys, CeeLo showed up as like dressed as like a gold alien. And then I think the story is people like he looks so ridiculous, like he looked like a really bad Star Trek character, and people started roasting CeeLo. And then when they asked him about it the next day, I think he was just like, "Oh, I wasn't at the Grammys," and tried to pretend like somebody else went dressed as the gold CeeLo alien. But if you get the book, you might see the gold CeeLo alien in there somewhere. So I'm trying to do some fun nods and stuff like that to music, but those are just whatever. But it's really so these kids are, they're just trying to create some art and do their own thing. But there's a factory in town that manufactures. We already got music. They have already manufactured a band called Glimo. So why would you need to listen to anything else when there's already a band created for you to listen to? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So these kids don't see themselves as competition, but this factory is we gotta.
This factory is like the music industry. Music is just this product that has to be churned out.
Yeah. And, so they make So they make the records, and there's rumors that people who kind of wander too close to the factory are getting kidnapped. So, but it seems like mostly artists. So like animals and people who get too close are disappearing. That's another mystery.
Okay. All right. So you have 3 main characters.
Yeah, you know what? It seems that way, but in the first issue, I really have I think I've got 15, 16, 17 characters I want you to know and love in the first issue. That being Frequency Jones, that green guy. I think the villains are all kind of just fun and silly in themselves, and you're kind of going to want to know about them as well. Mm-hmm. So he's got a transistor radio stuck in the side of his head. It's kind of like the Matrix. Like he's surgically attached that to his brain. So anything that he tunes into on that radio dial will get absorbed as information into his brain. Right. Right.
Yeah. That's a cool concept.
Yeah, man.
And then you have the kids here. These are the well, you said you don't really have main characters, but these are the protagonists.
Wait, no, I 100% do. So really, it's intended to revolve around that pink kid with the green hair. So that's CJ,
right?
And I'm trying to give them all personalities right now. They're and that's his next to on either side of CJ there. That green little dude who looks like a gooey avocado.
Yeah,
his name is Whammo.
Yes. Of course.
But it's spelled. It's not like Whammo the toy. It's French. It's WHAMEAUX.
Yes.
Right, like Whammo.
The fancy Whammo. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And
so,
then his
what are they eating?
Oh, that's slop sauce.
Okay. That's a special dish there.
Does it look gross? Because when I first got it back, I'm like, dude, it looks like bloody and disgusting. But I was like, yeah, you know what? Because I was going to be like, change it green. But I was like, dude, you know what? It looks gross. I'm just going to leave it. It's like,
yeah, sure. Yeah, these colors. You have to think about the colors, right? What kind of? Didn't you tell me the first time you were here? Didn't you tell me that the characters first had different colors or more human-like colors?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think color palettes are fun, but like CJ is based on like on a very specific plant, like a chrysanthemum type thing, Okay. Whammo is actually straight up avocado colors, like even like the purple is in some of the skin, but all the seed, everything. But he's the reason some of the colors work so well is because they're based on specific plants and things in nature. So a very specific color palette that already works, you know, that I didn't design. But you're right, dude. Initially, when I was doing this, they were kind of, it started off in my head as kind of like more one-offs of monsters, right? And the title kind of was Unemployed Monsters. And slowly, Unemployed Monsters just became me. Like, I'm the unemployed monster who's trying to make a comic book, right?
Yeah.
And as I kind of kept getting more and more into it, I just said, I don't want to use monsters at all. I don't want my kids to be, you know, so initially with Whammo, he was initially like a blue ghost, right? And you can kind of see it, but he's almost like a transparent apparition.
Yeah.
Kind of like Casper. But I just kept going like this. It's just all based on other stuff, man. Like I wanted to just kind of go as weird and away from that as possible. So now he's more like a poop emoji. Like he's like more, and he's more like substance, like a guy. You know.
Right.
But I just kept finding that a lot of these things. So the pink guy, he was more like a one-off of like a vampire kid, right?
Yeah.
So he was like blue, and that it just kept not working. I'm like, because all of a sudden you're going, oh, so if he's a little vampire kid, when he walks by a mirror, do I have to show his reflection? Right. Yeah. So I'm like, so I'm kind of getting caught up in that. I'm going, dude, I don't want, that's all lore. I don't want to, that's
no.
So now I have, so when you open up the comic book, there's a statement that says, there are no monsters in Unemployed Monsters. There are critters, creeps, mutants, and freaks. But no monsters. And that's just me just kind of trying to be silly and have fun and say it's a whole it's my world, it's our world, but it's not based on anybody else's old world.
Right. So how did you come up with the designs? Did you design the characters?
Yeah. Initially, I designed all the characters initially, but again, they were kind of like one-offs of Dracula, Frankenstein, and a ghost. You know, and it took a while, but I just had all these little fun stories that I wanted to tell. You know, I want to tell stories about procrastination and but also music and trying to put stuff out there and I really want to just kind of do kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or G.I. Joe, where it's just good guys versus bad guys. Just the good guys are trying to do something and the bad guys are stopping them, or the bad guys are like chopping down trees and they're not supposed to be, and the good guys are like, hey, like we need to stop them, and the police are in on it, so we got to figure out how to do it ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
So I really want to kind of just do good guy, bad guy stories, but then have a lot of just fun and depth with the characters and mingle and drama and all that kind of stuff. So I just as I kept diving into the characters in the world, I didn't need to rely on this one. Oh, they need to be monsters to be kind of interesting. They need to be something that people already know and understand to like, you know. I'm just going, no, this is fun. I can just do this and do my own thing. So, you know, with I guess early on my own editing and stuff like that, but just really trying to break away from that. I
take it this is all ages, right?
Yeah, 100%. And that's the one thing. So, dude, it's, you know, I'm trying to sell my book, right?
Sure.
So the YouTube thing is hard for me. Making videos and being out there and just, and, you know, and I hope to do it, but I'm really appreciative of guys like you and Shay and gals like Shay and people have had me on just to kind of get an understanding. But I want to make like videos that are compelling and interesting, and then add my comic to that. But I'm not doing that, and it's really hard for me. But what I have been doing is I live in a very busy street. So I have cards and comics, and I just go out and I interact with anybody who will listen. And a lot of times if I see parents, I'm like, hey, mom, hey, dad, I think your kids would like this, right?
Yeah.
So I handed out, dude, I might have handed out a stack of 100 little business cards and flyers yesterday, just walking around my neighborhood, right? But the one thing that I find trouble is when I'm saying all ages, I think sometimes it comes across as it's for kids and not for adults. And that's what I'm trying to really hammer home as well is, yeah, it's all ages, but Dave, you're gonna love it. You're gonna find it compelling. Everybody in the chat, you're gonna find the characters are interesting and compelling, and really the all ages bit. It's really, you could give it to a kid who couldn't read, and my goal here is that you could give it to a 5-year-old kid, an 8-year-old kid, a baby, and as a parent, as an adult, as a family member, not have to worry about any weird content. There's no race, there's no gender, there's no any of that stuff. And again, there's nothing wrong with writing or talking about that stuff, and especially if it comes up organically. And I'm not saying those issues would never come up in my world, but the way that they come up now, it's always just like it's the focus of a lot of products today, and it's a one-sided opinion in a lot of things today. So I'm trying to avoid that. I want to write a fun story, and then, like I said, you can give it to a kid and they could flip through it and not have to worry about anything. But at the same time, I think it's going to be kind of like, in some ways, kind of like Garbage Pail Kids, right? So I think Garbage Pail Kids initially are all ages, but they're probably more for kids, but like parents didn't like them, right? Yeah. And I'm maybe doing my book bad right now. I don't mean like that, but parents didn't like Garbage Pail Kids, but kids loved them. Kids loved them. Kids only saw the fun. It was just this crazy, silly art, sometimes violent, sometimes gross, but we just, even though we wasn't necessarily reading anything or whatever, it was just so fun to flip through those. And I think for the most part, as a parent, you didn't have to worry about that. But my book isn't nearly as violent or gross as any of that stuff. But in the same vein, I think it's fun and wacky, and just, even if you're not reading it, you're going to enjoy flipping through every page.
And it's very diverse. Every character looks different. So that was the goal, and I think so. I did design all of them, and I think I took a character design class with George Duchel, and we should talk about him sometimes. It was a really good experience for me. But he said, when you're designing characters, and this is him, this isn't everybody, but he said, when you're designing characters, make every character should be interesting enough where they could be their own main character in a book. Right. Yes. So true. You don't want them to be over designed where they're distracting, right? No. Because every good character needs something interesting about them, but then areas of rest. So, like, he would talk about how the alien design and the predator design, the reason those really work, even RoboCop, but a lot of the reason those designs work is there's elements that are busy, but there's also areas of rest where your eye can kind of chill out. Like the predator has this big smooth head right here, where that's called an area of rest, where you don't have to. It's not distracting. That's just his head, but like Optimus Prime in those early Transformers movie is just, the whole body, every single part of it. So there are literally like zero areas of rest on that design. Too much going on. It looks cool, but it doesn't work, right? No, it doesn't work for a comic, right? The comic Transformers were different from the movie Transformers, because the comic Transformers, you have to draw the same robot like 1,000 times, But
I think they also had those areas of rest where they're just big smooth panels on them, where those panels in the movie had wheels and flames and all just crazy stuff happening the whole time.
Great. All right. By the way, guys, the link to this campaign is pinned in the chat. It's also in the description of the video. Please check it out. Let's see what you're offering with the perks.
It's a pretty bare bones campaign. I've got 2 different covers, but they're both wraparound covers, and I think they're really fun. I've got you can get both covers and a sketch for I think $50. And Dave, here's the hard part right now is you're helping me out so much, but I don't have the comic even available internationally right now.
Oh no, I can see this. Yeah, ships to United States.
So, but bear with me, sir. And I'm just gonna say, I know you want to support it, and you already tried, but it wouldn't let you because it's only going to the U.S. What my goal is here, and I'm one of these people who I need to do one thing at a time, right? So I could have launched my campaign when a lot of other people did a year or two ago, and then just going, oh yeah, it's coming. I can't handle that stress, right? And people ask me where stuff is. So it was really important for me to have the book done.
Exactly.
So
I'm a little bit in this situation right now, and it's no fun. I can tell you that. Yeah.
So that as a first-time creator, dude, and having other stuff going on and already being stressed out. So before I got my most recent job, I was unemployed for 6 months, trying to, so the Unemployed Monsters thing, it's real, and I had, sometimes you're doing good sometimes, and sometimes you're not. You got to pick up and you got to downsize and then hopefully dust yourself off and move back up again. But I started rambling a little bit here, but yeah. So with that, so I wanted to just get do the book. And that was the thing. And then when it came to printing and shipping and all that, I'm going, I got to just I just got to do the domestic thing first. I got to make sure I can do it.
Right. Yeah.
And not worry about it and get out of hand. But my goal is, tell me what you think about it. I do a lot of eBay already. I've got almost like a 1,700 eBay reference. I sell a lot of comics and I get them out right away. So I have a good idea how to pack and ship things well. What I want to do is, once my book is printed, just put it up on the eBay store and offer like international free shipping. And they're still going to do that whole like calculated through Kentucky. But I wonder if I can get those shipping costs down just by selling my book through an eBay store rather than trying to do it all individually and stuff through Indiegogo now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically eBay manages all the shipping costs, and
they just do it. And it's all in there.
Right,
so if somebody wants to get it and it looks reasonable on them, or they can even be like, hey, whatever, maybe you could, do this, do that to make it whatever. But I think it would just be better for everybody. And I don't think anyone's going to have to wait anyone who's interested internationally either. It's like, once the book's printed, I'm going to have it on eBay. So, you'd be getting it like a week or two later than everybody else at most.
Yeah, sure do that, man. Always be selling. If you don't have your campaign, outside of your campaign, you also need to make sure that you're always selling something. So it's eBay store. That's a good plan. Sure.
Yeah. Well, actually, I wouldn't. So there's actually some cool stuff on there right now on my eBay store. When I worked on Rick and Morty, are you familiar with Mondo posters? Mondo?
Mondo posters? No.
Mondo, Mondo?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, dude, check them out. Like Google, like Ollie Moss. OLLYMOSS. You don't have to do it now, but Mondo is based in Austin, Texas, and they do these really cool movie posters, right? But they do like 24 by 36, and they're screen prints. So each one has like a unique feel to them. But they did Avenger, like the Tyler Stout Avengers. I get all excited talking about Mondo, and they're like super limited. So they would be like 100 of them. So there's this French dude, Laurent Dureau. He did a Jaws poster. They sold it on Mondo for like $60, and now it sells for like $2K, $3K for like crazy.
Holy shit.
Crazy numbers. And they still flip, and they still like Rob Liefeld did a limited screen print Deadpool poster with them.
Wow.
Yeah. So the point is that I being a fan of Mondo, and when I was on Rick and Morty, I talked to Justin Roiland and my producer, and I was like, hey, can we do posters like this and not really make them for sale? Let's just make them like for us, right? And I financed like 3 or 4 different like really cool episodic Rick and Morty posters with like full credits of the crew and everything, and printed them on like really nice like foil paper, but in some cases only made like 25 of them. But I've got all those up on my eBay store, the ones that are left over. So
right.
Yeah. So what were you saying? Always be selling. AB.
Yes, always be selling. So okay. So you have both covers plus a sketch, right?
Yeah.
You can get it for $50. You have
if you're unable to support the comic, or they're not your thing, and you want to just support a little bit for $5, I'll send you a sketch.
So you are drawing these?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Yeah, because I saw you are the writer, but not the artist here.
No, I'm
So,
not the artist, but I'm
but
doing those sketch cards. But
right,
yes,
right.
yeah, I can listen. I minored in art in college, so I'm very
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to brag, but I can't.
Yeah.
I'm going to just pretend I can. I'm very versed in oil painting and figure drawing and all sorts of.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's the
Hey, Roland.
exact same style also. That's the character, right? The character needs a specific style to work. Like the style has to be recognizable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
great.
So then
Uh,
I've got So then if you want to just get the individual covers, so Justin Noel he's an extremely talented character designer here in LA. He is no longer on Rick and Morty. We're on Nickelodeon now. But
oh,
if you have an opportunity to look up Justin Noel, just Google his art at some point, dude. It's fantastic. It's extremely creative. So I give him a lot of credit to. In some way, my world is kind of like his designs are very influential in my world, right? He redesigned a lot of my characters, so he just understands anatomy better than me. So all these CalArts artists and all these character designers, they're really, really good at what they do, and they make a lot of times cartoons make things feel more simpler than they are. And
right.
a lot of people learn how to draw cartoon characters just by looking at the cartoon character and kind of tracing him or this and this and that. The people who figured out these characters, Fred Flintstone, Homer Simpson, and even Rick and Morty, the people who are designing them, they already understand anatomy at an extremely high level. They've been doing figure drawing of characters of all shapes and sizes for years.
Right. Yeah.
So to simplify the human form and put it into a cartoon character is way harder than anybody thinks, because it takes all these years of understanding anatomy to figure out and make it work. So when they turn and everything, so even though Fred Flintstone has a head this big and some of these Pixar characters, it all still works because they're still following the form and the function that's inherently there. But when you're like me and you're just like going, I got good at drawing Homer Simpson just by watching the cartoons, there's inherent mechanisms that I just aren't even aware of, right?
Yes.
So when I'm doing all my characters and they don't work and I'm having trouble and I wonder why, I give them to Justin and he can just make them work.
Right. Welcome, Roland Lammers. Welcome, Roland.
What's up, Roland?
Roland also does animation.
Cool.
So I think he will like this. Roland, you will like this campaign. The only problem is Roland lives in the Netherlands, so he can't get it right now.
Hey, so it's going to be on the eBay store in January.
Yeah. All right. Excellent.
And we're going to have nice low shipping for you.
All right. So you have this cover here. Then you have the second cover. I don't think this cover is featured on the page itself, right?
You can see it a little bit higher, better. Gosh, this is just a terrible campaign, Dave. You're pointing out all my flaws. But if you scroll up on the right, I think on the tiers,
this.
If you scroll up.
Yeah.
You can see it better there.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the villain variant. That's featuring the evil band Gleemo on the front cover, and that's a wraparound cover as well. Both of them are wraparound covers.
Great.
Excellent. Yeah. And I'm making a comic book, but like all the writing and all the text, that'll just be all on the inside. Like I don't need like #1 and published and all this, and like I want you to be able to see the art. So I'm trying to put as little. They're almost virgin variants virgin covers for the most part.
Right. Yes. I get it.
But I don't think I'm going to be like a #1, #2 kind of guy. It's going to be, this one's Unemployed Monsters Presents. And then as people become familiar with just those words, Unemployed Monsters Presents, it's just going to be So the next one will just be okay. So the next one be like
And the next one, by the way, the next one, is that a continuation of this story, or will it be a new story?
Well, yes. I mean, listen, there's this by the end of this story, it's like a Hydra, cut off one storyline and two more pop out.
Right. Yeah.
So by the end of this book, I open up a can of worms, dude. How is he gonna get the lid back on this one? And maybe I never do. But yes, to answer your question, yes,
Yes.
it carries on. It's a really fun, big, diverse world, and there's a lot of characters. I'm telling you, in the first issue, there's about 15 characters that I want you to know and love right off the bat. I know that's a big ask.
Yes. How do you manage that as the writer? How do you juggle all these different characters and not make it confusing for the reader?
Well, I think what helps me is that every character just looks weird, right? So if there's a character you like, you can go, oh, like who's that guy? So it's even like a show like Cobra or G.I. Joe, you might have like the Dreadnought, all of them have blue helmets, but they have like a slightly different like eye slits. Like, oh shoot, the Cobra was cool, but he was off the screen so quick. Where I think I have the fortunate everyone's really different, but it really does revolve around the kid in the like on the front right there. You see him with his CJ right there with the yeah. So he's the guy. But then if you kind of look around, you're like, oh, who's that? Every character, I think every character all around him looks kind of interesting.
It's like Springfield, right? With all these
So
these villagers.
But Homer Simpson's always gets a little more screen time than Mo.
Right.
But everyone, we all love Mo.
Yeah, we do.
But so like that little orange guy in the bottom right corner, he plays a little role.
This one.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, you have 59 backers right now. It would be great if you have at least 60, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So yeah, let's refresh. Did someone back? No one backed during this stream, but that's okay. If you're watching in the replay, the link is in the description, guys. Check it out.
Well, hey, I'm really excited about those 59 backers, and I can't wait to get my book out, man.
Yeah, man. Fantastic. So you have 4 days left. Do you have some things planned for the final stretch of your campaign?
Absolutely not. I think I'm going to be on the road driving from LA to Colorado.
Okay, cool.
So listen, I'm a first-time creator, and I'm kind of doing it the hard way. I'm pushing a boulder uphill, mostly by myself on slippery ice. But this is the way that I wanted to do it, and I want to get this thing out, man. I just want to get this book out.
Great.
On the next one, maybe I'll try to be smarter and wiser and different things. But I want to get this thing printed and get it in your hands, and have everyone tell me how much they hate it and what I need to change for the next one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, each campaign has their own challenges, man. It's stop sharing. Stop sharing. So yeah. Well, thank you so much for showing us the campaign and for being my guest for today, Pum.
Dude, I appreciate it, man. It's always fun hanging out. God bless you, man.
Sumo says, I backed early. Book looks fun.
Hey, you're off the hook for not being number 60 then. Thank you, Sumo.
Yeah. Thank you, Sumo. Okay, Amanda says, safe travels, Pum. She also says, I'm excited for it. Hopefully my kid will enjoy it too.
Yeah, Amanda, let me know what you think. Let me know if my theory is right, if you can drop it in there and you won't be upset and they'll love it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exciting when your book is finally out there and then you wait for a little bit and then the feedback comes in. That's sometimes a terrifying stage.
Yeah. well, dude, just to take up a little more of your time, the problem was when I initially drew it and was going to put it out myself, I had more confidence in the writing, I think, because I'm like, oh, it's all me, and I'm just who cares? Like, I'm just doing my thing. If anybody has a problem with it. Once the book started looking better and better, and once I got Eric Weathers' writing back, I was like, oh, like this, everything else looks so good. That's like the only thing that you can criticize at this point is the writing, So I'm like,
okay,
right. I'm like, shoot, dude. So I really kind of, I think that I'm like this, like macho whatever guy, but I got scared. I was like, oh shoot, like
That's
I'm not a-
normal.
I'm not a-
That's
I'm not a-
normal, man. That's
I'm not a writer. This is the first thing I've ever done. This is
right. Yeah.
I gotta go back on my shell and just not put this thing out at all and give everybody their money back. Like, but it's an interesting week. I'm like, what? Then I was like, got this
Yeah.
far, man. Let me just try to edit it better.
Yeah, that fear. There's always that little fear that people will not like it, and this means that you care about your own book and your project. So that's a good thing, man.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Pum, thank you, man. Thanks again for being my guest today.
Hey, thank you, dude. Thank you, man.
And special thanks to the chat for everyone who showed up to watch us. And if you're watching in the replay, hi. And thank you all for liking. So if you like this, please like, please share. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I think this is the last Drink with Brink for this year, because next weekend is Christmas and then we have New Year. So I will be back with this show at least in January. So thanks again, guys, and see you guys next time.
Cool. Later, y'all.
Bye.